Welcome. You've splash landed into this Prosecco-laden podcast, straight into the woo-woo pool with the Crew of Ohm-g. We're just a simple group of tragically imperfect and highly empathic BFFs, exploring a wide range of atypical topics with humor, grace, and curiosity. This is Ohm-g. Hello, everybody, and welcome. Today, we've got a little crystal boo persuasion coming your way. Right now, you're here, you're live with a panting golden retriever and the crew of
Ohm-g, the podcast.
So thank you so much for joining us. Today, it's just going to be a really loose and general talk about crystals. Crystal queens is what we are. What do they mean to us? When did we first get excited about them, and what are we drawn to? So who wants to start and let me know your experience with crystals?
Well, I think Erin is the biggest crystal queen of us all.
I think
First of all, I feel like I have the least experience, is what's comical, but I'll take that crown, absolutely. However, I have, I don't know what it's called. I'm sure one of you would, but Camille randomly gifted us with this wooden circle that has like all the different astrological... Is it a pendulum disc?
Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. I just remember Camille being like, I don't know what the hell this is, but I thought of you guys whenever.
It looked cool, and you all got a wooden disc.
Yes, exactly. And I love that wooden disc.
It's got like yes, no, different, astrological symbols.
Yeah.
I think it's got some, what is it, runes on there or something?
Beltane, Lunasa, all that stuff.
Sylvia.
Did you say Lunesta? Anyways, it's very, very cool. And so all of my crystals lie on my desk in my room.
I use mine as a crystal grid.
Yeah.
Too.
And it looks kind of cool. And sometimes I'll put like little kind of a feather on there or little jewelry or rings or whatever too.
I think we're going to post a picture, but continue.
Yes, definitely to take one. So there I have just like random ones from a little like witchy rock shop near us that we've talked about before, I think, on the podcast, called ECLECTIC by NATURE, or EBN. If you're ever in the Greensboro area, you should definitely check it out. They have tons of crystals, all things witchy, tarot cards, incense. And so I started going in there and just like, if a crystal sort of quote unquote spoke to me, then I would get one. I have probably 10 to 12 different ones, like sunstone. I want to get some jade before school starts back for like protection and
protection from evil children.
From evil children. I have some rose quartz, amethyst.
I could let you borrow.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. So yeah, but one of a funny memory around crystals was one night, I think a few of us got together for like an intuitive development type thing. And I want to say, I remember it was me, Chandra, Brenda, Ro. Maybe we were all together and you guys had left at this point. I can't remember, but there were little tiny, tiny black obsidian pieces that Ro had given to us. And we were working with them. And all of a sudden, correct me if I'm wrong, it was Brenda and Chandra, right? Yeah. They just popped it in their mouth and swallowed it. Because, y'all, it was like pill size, very tiny, right?
Well, and Brenda did it. And then I was like, thank you, because I've been sitting here wanting to do that for like an hour.
And the just sheer horror on Rose's face of like, I'm going to take them to the hospital. And Brenda's like, oh, it'll come out just fine,
Well, they're both Geminis, so lesson learned.
Exactly. But so I typically carry some sort of crystal, whichever one just sort of calls to me, in my pocket or in a bracelet or something, just to kind of, it's like a grounding mechanism.
Speaking of ECLECTIC by NATURE, I always love stopping in there. And then since they've got their crystals off to the side, I'm just like going and seeing, if I'm looking for something specific, I'll go in with the intention of trying to find that. And then of course you'll get distracted by all the other pretty stuff. And so then I'll go around and then I'll be that person who picks them up out of the dish. I'm like, does this feel right? Does this feel good? Do I like the feel of this in my palm? No, that was not it. Okay, next one. Like, is this color pretty? Do I vibe with it? And
tune into the crystal.
Yes. Well, and I got into crystals through my intuition mentor, and she has always taught that you should ask the crystal, like you should, or do you want to work with me? Or are we a good pair? And see what feelings you get in your body. So it's essentially the same thing of like, does this feel quote unquote right or good?
And I always love testing them to see if it's like a worry stone. Like if I just had this in my hand, is it something I could just sit there and rub? But if it's like, not the right shape for your palm, or it's like jagged and not in a way you can hold, you're like, no.
They can be the original fidget spinner if you think about it, to take away some
a worry
negativity,
stone or
anxiety.
something.
Absolutely.
And for the people that don't really want to do a lot of research, would rather just grab and go, you can always rely on rose quartz, amethyst, or selenite. Exactly.
Yeah. So Rosalie, you had brought a crystal today that was really calling to you to bring. So tell us what you brought and what it's here to help us with.
So my daughter gave me a piece of kokoxenite, and I just leave it sitting on my desk, and I've been puzzling about the stone, didn't know much about it, and today it really wanted to come for this reading. So it is a stone, the metaphysical properties of it activates all your chakras, can help you expand your consciousness and understanding, helps connect to the spirit realm. It's referred to the stone of ascension. It stimulates creativity, brings new ideas. It works with the crown chakra, third eye chakra, the zodiac Sagittarius, in numerology, the number 9. Planetary ascension is unknown at this time, but the element is air. So the metaphysical tags would be creativity, spirituality, growth, spiritual growth, which I thought was kind of appropriate for the topic today.
And it's very beautiful. It kind of looks like a clear quartz with like a little yellowish hue, but it's got like a lot of like inclusions, like it almost looks like bubbles inside of it, and like gold streaks through it. It's really a beautiful stone.
And Alexander was talking about it being like a palm stone, a worry stone, and it does have that feel.
And sometimes if it's like nice and flat like this one is, it's like you can stick it in your underwear if you don't have pockets or your bra.
Let's get real about it because
ladies, how many of you have a crystal in your bra right now? Or
because
hands go up all over the room.
Women's clothing do not come
included.
with pockets, and whoever started that trend needs to go somewhere.
Absolutely.
Yeah, watch out for those tiny crystals, though, in your bra, because sometimes you'll turn up looking like you have 3 nipples, but that's another episode. But you were saying?
So kind of go back what, Ro and Cam were talking about was that, if you don't have a lot of crystals and you want to create a small crystal kit, it's always a good idea to get crystals of your 7 in-body chakras. So that would be like amethyst for your crown, lapis lazuli for your third eye, blue lace agate for your throat, aventurine or
rose quartz
for your heart, citrine for your solar plexus. Is it carnelian for your root?
Yeah.
And then what am I? Solar plexus? No.
Yeah, you guys.
So
sacral is the orange calcite.
Orange calcite, or like tiger's eye for your solar plexus. And then of course selenite. Those are always just kind of a nice, easy 7 to 10 crystals that you can have, and you can place them on your chakras, and that's always a great way to vibe and line up with things if you just want to lay for like an hour with your stones and meditate.
And this is Chandra, and that's kind of where my collection began, is when I started taking Reiki. Was I wanted to get crystals of all the colors and just kind of started accumulating them from there. But that was Reiki and getting crystals aligning with the chakras was what got me started with my crystal collection.
And they're so beautiful to collect too, just to look at them, even if you're not using them.
They're soothing.
They are. And speaking to what Alexander was saying, I'm obviously learning tons about crystals, and Camille actually sent us an app. So if you guys are interested in finding out more about crystals in general, they're not sponsoring us. Shout out if you're out there listening, but it's called the Citrine Circle. And it has, honestly, it looks like every crystal known to humans. Alphabetically, you can search for safety or for specific chakras or planetary information, and it populates crystals that would be good for those specific things. So we highly recommend looking into that app if you're interested in learning more about crystals.
This is Alexander. There's 2 other books. Well, there's 3 that we'll link in our on our website for you guys, and it's The Crystal Witch is a good book. And then there's the Pocket Book of Crystals. And then, of course, The Crystal Bible by Judy Hall. So those are great ways to look up by, in their index. Oh, I've got this thing going on with my eye, or, I want to look for something good for my bones. So it's always a nice way to just quickly reference or bring it with you when you go to a crystal shop.
Well, and that's what I was going to say. If you find a stone that you're not really sure what it is, books like the Crystal Bible, they have a lot of photos of different, because it can be the same crystal, but it can look kind of really different sometimes. So it gives you like lots of pictures where you can try to match and find out exactly what you have.
Because if it's from a different part of the world, the mineral deposits, and usually a good shop will, have somebody who's like all in the know about crystals, and you can go, okay, what does this do? And they'll help you pick one. I know we've got an episode coming up of shadow work, and crystals are helpful for that, particularly smoky quartz and tourmalated quartz. Always good to have on hand if you're going through that journey. But it's nice to have crystals that you are using for a specific purpose, either in your manifestation practice, you're meditating with. They're just great to work with. They're fun too. Or just really pretty to look at on your shelf.
Yeah.
I was always told that black stones like obsidian or hematite, black tourmaline, is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Are really good for grounding and staying focused. Oh, Rose showing me hers right now.
I'm wearing hematite for grounding.
And onyx and perfect.
Protection, grounding.
Absorbing negative energy.
Exactly.
And when I worked in corporate America, I had a piece of black tourmaline on my desk, like right in front of me. I had a piece of magnetic hematite on my file cabinet that people had to walk by to get in to my cube. And I also had a selenite tower.
A tower?
Yeah, a tower.
Keep your shit to yourself.
Yeah, it was only like, maybe 5 inches tall.
Right.
It was, a tiny little tower on my desk. But I kind of used it as a lamp, like put a light underneath it. So it was going to look really cute. But it was like all the negative, like clear out the negativity.
Well, like selenite lamps or salt rock lamps are always good for like putting in negative ions into there.
Got both of those.
You mentioned, corporate and business. If you're, work with computers or technology a lot, it's really good to have fluorite around you because that'll help kind of not disintegrate, but like transmute that
electromagnetic
thing in
field.
there. I was like, what is that word?
Shungite is the other one that does that.
Shungite,
Shungite. Thank you. Yeah.
Shungite. I learned this, I think, when I was at Earth Song. Powdered shungite. If you put it in a bottle cap and you have like a beehive or somebody does, bees will pick it up as they leave the hive and it'll help them find their way home. That's why some of the problems with bees and the bee population is they're unable to find their way back home because the scents get tracked. So if they've got a little bit of shungite on them, it'll keep their signals clear to find their way back to their hive.
That's so cool.
Wow.
So,
Damn, nature, you crazy.
I know.
All right. So let's take a quick break. And then when we come back, we'll pick up this conversation again.
Sounds
All right.
Hi, this is Chandra. Brenda and I would like to invite you as part of our podcast community to join us on either Facebook or Instagram Live each Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern U.S. time, where we give free oracle readings for fans of the show. Just follow us on our OMG Podcast Facebook or Instagram page. You can post or DM us your questions there each week with the hashtag WooWooWisdom, and then tune in at 11 a.m. each Friday on our page to watch your free reading. If you can't join us live, don't worry. You can always catch it on the replay. This is just our way of saying thank you for being part of our Woo Woo family. Hope to see you this Friday.
All right. Welcome back, everyone. If you hear that is not us cashing our paycheck, sadly. It is some of the girls are shuffling decks and they cannot lie. So we wanted, as we're having this conversation about crystals, I wanted to ask Brenda, throughout the process of working as a massage therapist and also, as an energy healer and energy channeler, do you ever or have you ever used crystals in that work to help clients?
So I usually go very much off my intuition, and selenite is my go-to. I have a massive selenite wand underneath my table, and that stays there all the time just to help clear the energy of whoever's on the table. But a lot of times I'll use it and lay it down the front of the body across the chakras and just ask that it be absorbed, absorb any energy that's coming off that they are clearing out of their body. Because selenite is great because you don't have to, you don't have to purify it and put it in the sun or put it and do this to it or put it in the moon.
It's one of those rare crystals that recharges itself. It doesn't need to be cleansed. It doesn't need to be recharged.
Selenite and blue kyanite never have to be cleansed, cleared, or anything.
Cool. And then also, whenever I painted the inside of our house, I crushed up selenite and it's all over the walls in the house.
Yes. I've heard that before.
And I know one of our friends out in Sedona had posted a little reel on that on Instagram that she was doing that at her house. So it leaves some little flakes, but it helps create that energy of just clearing, constantly clearing.
And it doesn't even necessarily have to be like that you're clearing anything negative. Like when you buy a house that someone has previously lived in, I mean, there's energy left over from their time there. So it just kind of like purifies the space and kind of gives you a little bit more of a clean start.
Well, and this is Alexandra again, but speaking of Brenda's work, I know I went to see you for energy work one time, and you had, I think it was a selenite tower, and you put it right on my heart, and you pulled out that black gunk plug of goo out of my heart, and that was kind of weird. And I actually remember feeling it, and like coming up through the crystal and transmuting and changing. That was a cool experience.
That sounds really powerful.
Yeah.
The plug of despair is gone. Hallelujah.
Won't he do it? He said he'd do it.
But speaking of houses and like crystals, not selenite. Citrine is a really good one to put in the money corner of your house, which is what the farthest right corner in the house from your front door. So if you've got like a big chunk of that, that's always good to set in that corner and seal that in, attract wealth for you.
Well, and abundance. I remember one time, I think Brenda and I had been doing like one of our live oracle card readings, and I, for whatever reason, wanted rose quartz. And what I have is like little kind of like buds of rose quartz over every door. Entrance into the house, like one on each corner of the door frame, so that like everybody that comes into the house is bathed in love as they come in, because it's the heart stone. But it was so funny because as I said, who wants to go with me to the crystal shop, because I've got to get some rose quartz. And both Brenda and Ro were like, let's go.
Right.
And we get to, I think it was
Rocks and Locks.
Earth Songs that we were going to, and we get out, and this is still like COVID time, so we're putting on our masks or whatever, and we get to the door and we walk in, and the lady that greets us says, welcome, we've got stuff on sale in the back room, we've got a big special on rose quartz.
Okay, spirit.
Okay, evidently. So we beeline for the clearance room, but it's just like when you get that urge, like you just get that feeling of like, okay, I need to do this, and using like to Alexandra's point, using crystals in the home. I know our friend in Sedona also teaches like with quartz points. To like, if you have a room in your house where like you want to intensify the energy, like if you're a Reiki practitioner and you have a certain room where you do Reiki, you can put quartz points in each corner of the room and point them into the room, and it will keep the energy in the room. And also if you have a room that kind of feels like you can do the same thing and point them out, and it will help push the negativity out of the room. So it's just a lot of different.
I feel like crystals, it's like you learn one thing, and then it's like, okay, that leads you on to something else. And you just kind of learn like little things about a specific crystal, or like the shape and how you can use that. And it's always like a never ending learning journey. And you can always pick up something new. And I remember, when I first started looking into crystals, I'm like, I want them all. But it can take a lifetime to amass a collection. And then sometimes you give them away. Sometimes they leave you. And it could be that they've absorbed so much of your negative energy like it's meant to, and it just needs to go away for a bit, and then it'll
let someone else find them.
Right. Which, speaking of absorption, really quick, it's a very funny to me little anecdote. But one time I was in line for EBN, or Eclectic by Nature, and I was going to get some crystals, and it was on the day that there was going to be a full moon. And so there were these like teenagers in front of, it was me and my husband and my friend Cecilia, who's been on the podcast before. And we were standing there chatting and waiting outside in line because it was still COVID time. So, we had to social distance and whatnot. And there were these 4 teenagers, probably juniors or seniors in high school, in front of us. It was 2 guys and 2 girls. And the girls were the ones that wanted to come into the shop and wanted some crystals and whatever. And the boyfriends, I'm assuming, drove them there, were there for moral support, whatever. So the girls go in and they're like, no, do you guys want to come in? Like, no, we're good. So they like waited on the little porch area. And as me and Christian and Cecilia are standing there talking, the boys are laughing with each other. And one guy's like, yeah, dude, my mom comes here all the time. And every time there's a full moon, she lays all these rocks out on top of her car to charge. So if you're this kid's mom, like, hit us up. Our email is support@OMG. But I just thought that was hilarious. Them like, being supportive of their girlfriends, but also being like, dude, my mom.
Girl, drink your moon water and come visit us.
Exactly.
I know the first time my husband saw me like putting the crystals out on like the ledge, and he got it with the crystals.
Right.
Like he kind of like understood the moon energy, but then I'd like go in the kitchen and pour some water, and he's like, do you have to water the crystals too?
Right.
What are you doing with the water? I'm like,
what kind of witchy shit? Or Christian calls them.
I'm making moon water. And he just was like, I get the, oh, okay, as he rolls his eyes and turns his head the wrong way.
When I've tried to give like Christian a crystal or something like at work, he's like, I don't want that witch rock, joking, obviously, but it's just hilarious.
Rosalie, it feels like you have something you want to share.
Oh, recently I was drawn to Lemurian crystal, and was that the piece I just got? No,
Lemurian quartz.
Yeah, no, I don't have a piece of that yet, but it keeps popping up everywhere. And I looked up the meaning of it. It's vision, big picture thinking, unlocking the secrets of infinite possibilities.
Perfect. Yeah,
which
perfect.
Which is perfect right now. So I am on a quest to get some Lemurian quartz.
Urson had some a little while ago, and definitely check out like Lemuria, like that population, like they're like Atlanteans. It's very cool.
Oh yeah.
Again, crystals lead you down the rabbit hole.
They do.
They do.
And I have a book downstairs. I'll share it with you before you leave. So I see we got some crystal queens here with some crystal decks. So who wants to share what cards they are pulling for our audience?
So I was shuffling and 3 lovely cards came out. Luckily, we've talked about 2 of them, one being Citrine. It's a must-have for wannabe makers of art. How noble. And money. How gauche. Citrine is a pale gold, smoky brown quartz. Those candy yellow citrines you find at the shops are actually heat-treated amethysts.
Oh.
Which is another beast altogether.
Yeah.
So it's good for anyone who has a big idea, a big dream. And then black tourmaline, which we talked about, which is good for everyone, and it's for grounding. And it is a slightly magnetized, semi-precious gemstone with a reputation for protecting a delicate psyche from the case of the crazies.
We all need that, y'all.
And then one we haven't talked about was Epido. It's a prismatic, earthy green, aluminum silicate mineral. That was a lot of words. Sorry. It's a get what you give stone, making good vibes even better. But be warned, if you bring Epido into your world, be ready to bring it. If you're set on wallowing out, keep Epidos at a safe difference. It's good for anyone putting in the work on their self.
Oh, so y'all need to dream big and stay grounded and just watch what you manifest.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Citrine is also good for protection.
Yes.
Spiritual protection.
Good stone.
Very cool.
So Chandra, what did you pull out as what we need to share? The moonstone jumped out, didn't it?
It did.
Yeah.
First and foremost, moonstone. This one actually came up for Brenda Rowe and I yesterday in our readings, and it's a stone that I kind of claim that I resonate with just because my name means moon. So it's like I wear a lot of moonstone, and I also pulled blue lace agate.
Oh,
that's a good one.
Yeah, definitely like third eye.
And for me,
it's like, to me, the blue lace agate kind of symbolizes the connection between the two, because you get like the light and the dark blue in the in the lace. So it's kind of like, for me, it's the connection. And I'm also pulled Amazonite.
Nice.
Yeah.
Lovely.
So it's a beautiful kind of like light green jadey color, and I always associate this with heart purity. So it definitely feels like a heart chakra crystal to me.
What is moonstone for?
It's for spiritual enlightenment.
Okay. So it's kind of a third eye,
isn't it?
Connection
and kind of
crown.
like a crown. Yeah.
It's a white color.
I could be wrong, but I thought moonstone too helps you connect to the divine feminine or something like that.
Oh, I think you're
That
right.
makes perfect sense.
I have like a big triangle of it. Oh yeah. Yeah, like Rose pointing to my phone. Everyone listening, like, look at the app you tried to plug.
I know.
Okay, let me look it up.
The Oracle book, the book with those Oracle cards, actually says intuition, insight, inner wisdom, and inner voice. So,
Well, the other fun thing about blue lace agate, it's good for people who have arthritis.
Oh,
I had gotten some first.
Lord, maybe I need to get myself some for
Arthritis.
my Arthur.
I always have a dream, and labradorite is my stone.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
I mean, it's a good one. It feels right. I was initially drawn to that more than anything. My dream, not necessarily countertops. I would love to have a headboard made of labradorite. So I would have these really cool and insightful dreams and things. So anyway, that's my dream. Just throwing it out there.
You know those
I like it.
cavernous amethyst or things that look like chairs? I so want to sit in one of those.
One of those giant chairs.
Yes.
Just
They
soak it all
look
up.
so beautiful and just like,
Yeah.
that'd be a great place to just sit down and meditate for like a hot minute. You're like, wait, no, leave me here.
Right.
Well, you're grown.
We need to plan a field trip to the Tucson Gem Show.
Yes, we do.
I'm down. Anyone
That'd be
want to meet us
amazing.
there?
Right.
Buy our tickets, whatever.
Yes. It's funny that you said that a minute ago about dreaming, Camille, because I looked at the app, the Citrine Circle for Moonstone, and when you said the word dream, I read dream as well as
Excellent.
it aids in dream work. So yeah, if you have some Moonstone and are looking to maybe astral project or do some dream work or something, it might be helpful for that.
While we're on the subject of these crystal shops, I know it's sometimes hard to find a good local crystal shop. So I'm going to task each of our listeners with something. I would like you in the comments, either wherever you listen or on our website, to share what local crystal shop you love to go to.
Yeah.
That way we can all create a community. And if we travel, we can go visit your favorite shops.
I love that.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Excellent.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, guys, thanks for joining us again this week. All of us Crystal Queens. And I'm having more than a brain fart. It feels like brain diarrhea. There's a crystal for memory. I need that real quick. And maybe some Prosecco. Love you guys for listening. Take care. And we'll see you guys next time on the Ohm-g Podcast.
See you next time.
Peace out. Peace out.
Thank you for joining us today. Please follow and subscribe to our podcast on Apple, Stitcher, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts, and leave a review. It's so easy to do and such a huge help for us. We appreciate your interactions so much. Want to join us at our table? Make sure to check out our YouTube channel and join our Facebook community. If you've enjoyed this content and wish to support us, take a look at our Patreon page. All information and links will be in our podcast description. Catch you next time.
This podcast is part of the Sound Advice FM network. Sound Advice FM. Women's voices amplified.